In this tutorial, I'm going to show you how you can easily make your own website. You don't need to know how to code. I'm going to use Protobuilder, and you'll see that even without any programming knowledge, you'll be able to build a responsive and multilingual website in no time. So let's get started. Here's the final result that you'll be able to achieve by the end of this video. It's going to be a simple one-page website with a navigation bar, a banner, then a white line to separate the banner from the next section, a section in 3 columns, the buttons for your social medias, and a footer in 2 columns. So the first thing I'm going to do is to go to protobuilder.be. You'll need to register so you can manage your project using this link, sign up, and then you can log in here. So I'm going to use my user client. And here is the dashboard of Protobuilder. So I'm going to directly create a new project that I'm going to call Tutorial. Notice that the URL of your project is automatically getting updated with the name of your project. I'm not going to set the project public because I don't want anyone else to start a new project from this example. I don't want the editor mode because I want to start from the beginning. If you know what you're doing, if you know a little bit how to code, then you can definitely use that option, which is going to give you more possibilities. And I'm going to select a template. So I'm going to start from this template, which is new project. As you can see, it's quite empty compared to the other two. I'm going to select it, and the name is going to be updated here in the field selected template, and then I'm going to click on create. My project has been added to the lists shown in the dashboard, and I'm going to click here to open it. So now I'm inside my project. You can see here a bunch of technical files, some JavaScript, some CSS. But if you're not a developer, you won't need to update them, so you can just ignore them for now. Then some templates. Here fixedwidth.html and here fullwidth.html. This one is more responsive when you resize your window, so I'm going to use it for my landing page. And because it's a landing page, I'm going to have to use the name index.html. So you will have to do exactly the same, so use index.html. Same for the path. Create. And the page has been added to your pages for production. One last note. Here in images, you can upload the pictures that you are going to use inside your pages. I already uploaded my picture just here. So I'm going to go back to project, select my project, and edit my page index.html. All right. So here is the layout of your page index.html. You can see some gray areas and a button. They are actually all buttons, and they're all used for adding a component inside your page. So just to give you an example here, I can click on this area to add a navigation bar. There is only one possible selection, so I'm going to use it. And this is it. Now I've got a navigation bar. This is a text. If I double click on it, I can edit it. So you can put your brand here, Protobuilder. I'm going to come back to the schematic of the website to give a few explanations on how to build a responsive section. For that, you'll need to follow 3 steps. Step number 1, add a new section. Then inside that section, you'll have to decide the subdivision into columns. These columns are going to be fractions of the total section, and more precisely 12 of the total section. In my case, as you can see, there is a text here, first tutorial, which is aligned on the right side of a large column and then a small empty column. So what I'm going to do is to divide it into 9/12 and 3/12. And finally, for each column, you'll have to add a content. So in the first column, I'm going to add a text, which is going to be first tutorial. And in the second column, it's just going to remain empty. I am now back to the editor and I'm going to add the different sections inside my page. Just going to recap. So first I need to add a section, then inside my section I can decide the subdivision into columns, and for each column I can add a content. So I'm going to click here to add a section. I'm going to choose row for an empty row, and I'm going to comment later on the other possibilities. So here just row. This is the newly created row, and before moving on to the second step, I'm going to directly add an image in the background using that button, customize row. And the reason is I want my image to cover the whole section and not simply one column inside my section. So in background image, I'm going to select the image that I uploaded earlier. And in background size, I'm going to choose cover because I want my image to cover the whole component. And notice that the character is on the left side of the image, so I'm going to choose a position on the left side, let's say left center. And finally, I'm going to decide the dimension of my section. I'm going to define the height here, 550 pixels. px for pixel, and save this. Now I've got my background picture and I can choose the subdivision into columns. If you remember, I wanted a large column which would be 9/12 wide and the remaining 3/12 would be empty, so I'm going to choose two columns 9/3. As you can see, there are two blocks showing you the dimensions of the columns, and here I'm going to click to add a content. I'm going to choose generic content. I'm not going to comment on any other option, but this is going to be the topic for other videos, so here just generic content. And same thing, if you double click on it, you can edit it. And I'm going to align that on the right side. The title is going to be first tutorial, and because it's a title, I'm going to choose heading 1. I save this. Now this is it for my first section. Now I'm going to add a white space between that section and the next one. So here, new section, I'm just going to use break. Now I've got a white line, and now I'm going to add a section in 3 columns. So this time I'm going to take a shortcut. So remember, first we need to add a section and then the subdivision into columns. I'm going to do these 2 steps together. So I'm going to choose row 444, which is going to create the section already with the subdivision. As you can see now, I've got 3 columns, and same thing as before, I'm going to customize the background before moving on to the next step. So here, customize row. I'm going to choose a background color this time. So here, for instance, pale goldenrod, and I'm going to save it. And now that I have my columns and my background, I'm going to add a content in each column. So again, generic content, and generic content. Same thing again, you double click on it to edit the content. So here, menu 1, I want it centered, and I want it as heading 2, and the text doesn't really matter. Option 1, 20 euros. I want it centered too. So here, and I'm just going to copy that line several times so you can get an idea about the final result. This would be option 2, option 3, and I'm going to copy that text for the other 2 columns. Here, menu 2, and here, this is hidden, yep, menu 3. Perfect, so now I've got my second section, and I'm going now to add the different buttons for the social medias. So it's that green button over here. If you leave your mouse, you can see insert new share button, and let's say I want Facebook. There are many options, as you can see, Google Plus, and let's say Twitter. LinkedIn. And if you're not happy with one component, you can always delete it using that red cross. All right. And finally, I'm going to work on the footer. So this box here, I'm going to click. And the same thing, now I want 2 columns, so it's going to be 2 columns, row 6, 6. Then I'm going to customize the background color again. So here I'm going to choose here. I want a gray, but as you can see, there are way too many options. It's a bit difficult to find the color that you want. So I'm going to type gray here. And now the selection is filtered with only the colors containing the word gray. I think dim gray is good. All right, and again, I'm going to choose generic content. Here, I can type the contact us. I want it centered. And I'm going to choose heading 3. I'm going to center it again, and here you can type your address. I'm not going to type it. Address, you can type an email if you want. email@email.com, and you can type a phone number. It doesn't really matter. Save this. And here a generic content as well. Again, I double click, and this could be the opening hours. Centered, heading 3, and I can be open on Monday from 9 AM to 6 PM. On Tuesday, I'm closed on Sunday, and I want that text to be centered. Perfect. So now this is it for my page index.html. If you want to see the final result, you can go back to your web pages and click here on the link index.html. And you get a preview of the result. So here, perfect. And finally, if you want to make your website public, you need to go back to projects. Your project tutorial right now is in status 000. So if you click on play here, publish your website. Congratulations, your website is now public. If you want to go back to development, then you just click here. Your project is now under development. So here, your project is now in status 400, and if I use that URL, I've got my website over here. Great. So this is it. I hope this video is going to help you build your first website. I'm going to post more videos to help you with other functionalities of Protobuilder. So if you want regular updates, you can follow us on Facebook just by searching Protobuilder.